have our second place Dinosaur deck profile. Tell us who you are and what you do.
I am a degenerate. Because of laws, I will not say my name out loud. But yeah, I play dinos, and I also am called Chicken Little. I live up to the name. We'll say that.
Okay, deck profile then, Mr. Chicken Little.
All right. Why? All right. So,
Okay, go ahead. Dad didn't want to get shown on camera.
for my 3-offs, I run 3 soul eating. This is completely standard. If you run any less, you're a donkey, or you're playing the pay half life points trap deck. 3 of this baby, also mandatory. Some people run this at less than 3. They are absolute goon fools. Because this deck bricks to high health. I never played this at 2, shut up. And you need one of the babies in hand most of the time to do anything. That's all for the 3-off monsters. I also run 2 Armadorn. I would ideally want to play this at 1, but if you do not summon this off Misk, it is terrible. I run 2 of the UCT. Again, you want to summon it from deck most of the time, so you have to run it as 2. So that is the normal lineup of dinosaur monsters. I then run a small scrap package of 2 Scrap Raptor and then 1 Chimera. Absolute bonkers. Some pretentious arse-wipes think they're better for not running it.
Don't look at me. I don't run.
Some people think the scrap engine is bad. They're fools.
No, can't be spoken.
And then for the one-offs, there's a lot of them. Giant Rex, Misk, Pancratops, all pretty self-explanatory. But then I also run Xenometeorus and Frostosaurus.
Okay, I need you to explain that one.
So Xenometeorus is from the newer set. It basically...
Yeah, not that one, I need you to explain Frostosaurus.
Well, I have to explain Xeno for
Okay, go ahead.
Frostosaurus. So basically, Xeno says if a dinosaur dies, bring it out from your hand. So it's an extender. And then it says you can destroy a card, a monster you control, a dinosaur specifically, to special summon this from your hand or deck. It has to be a normal monster. But you use this to go into the new rank 6, and the new rank 6 is absolutely nutty.
That is true. That is true. Okay, good point.
Yes. Okay.
Did that come up much tonight?
Actually, yes. It comes up a shit ton because people, for some reason, find it difficult to out 2 targeted Omni Negates.
Okay, thank you. Well, we're gonna have to see the combo at the end then.
I then, for hand traps, run 3 Effect Veiler, 3 Ghost, 3 Ash.
That's a lot of hand traps, my man.
I run so many hand traps because if I cannot get into my extra deck, it allows me to still activate a pill if I have it in hand. If I do not activate the pill and I cannot activate anything else, I'm usually passing. Ghost Bell actually came up a lot tonight, even though I didn't play against a lot of the meta decks. And I also run this many hand traps, so it is easier to side deck.
Okay.
For spells, I run 3 Fossil Dig, standard, 3 Ground Xeno. Because I run the normal monster, I can also go into the fusion monster with this. 3 Pots of Poverty.
Spare change, ma'am. Squidward?
Also known as Pot of Prosperity. I refuse to get a printer.
Okay. So you are absolutely waiting for Rarity Collection, are you?
Yes, very much so.
Okay. And what does Dad say?
For the rest of the spells,
I am.
For the rest of the spells, 2 Lost Blood. Some people run it at 3 plus to Terraforming. My consensus is, if I ever draw more than 1, I weep. Because the deck already bricks enough that if I ever draw more than 1, I have to punch myself legally. And then 2 Pill, because
legally, you say?
Legally, I have to punch myself. You can hold me accountable to that. And then 2 Pill, because I need to use Armadorn effect, and if I draw both, I cry. That is all for the main deck. Would you like the side deck first or the extra deck?
Your call, my man. It's your deck profile.
I'll do the extra deck first. So, I run 1 Link Karibo, 1 Secure Gardener. Secure Gardener is only if I cannot get into the scrap engine. Otherwise, I will usually banish it off Crossfeed. 1 IP plus the Nightmare combo. This has never come up. I usually ban it off Prosperity.
So what would you replace it with then, if you could?
Honestly, just a separate copy, a second copy of some other cards that will come up, usually.
Okay.
But honestly, I just keep this in because if it ever does come up, it's really, really useful. But it usually will never.
Okay.
But you could go into like other level 8s or other rank 4s. It is really up to you.
Okay.
Then the Scrap Wyvern. This is how I usually get Link Reborn Graveyard for Pill.
Okay.
And it's also just the extender for the Scrap Engine. And it is just really good. And also gets you into this card, Appaloosa.
Appo.
It hasn't come up a lot tonight, but this is usually my bread and butter. For my Xyz monsters, I'm running Abyss Dweller, for obvious reasons. This is actually a really good combo extender because it's like the only thing in Xenometeorus' lock that can detach a material, and usually by that point I'll have a Giant Rex underneath it, detach Giant Rex, and then use Giant Rex for Pill, and then I can use Giant Rex for something else.
Okay, that sounds interesting.
And then I still have the extra graveyard lock for my opponent's turn. Because most of the time, if you're summoning this and your opponent does get turned off by it, you will win in that one turn.
Hear that, people? Your opponent gets turned off.
Oh my god. I have 1 copy of Dolka and 1 Lugia. If you were cutting IP and Unicorn, you would usually put like 2 more copies of this.
Okay. Would you ever use a second copy of either of them?
I have, unless I get into grind game, never.
Okay.
But
It's
the deck
possible.
doesn't usually go into grind game, usually just because if Miscellaneous gets banished or like negated or something, most of the time you just stop playing and you don't get into this anyway. But I don't know, if Misk ever comes back to 3 or 2 even, just please, I beg you, then I would bump this up, definitely.
Let's now go back to
Probably not. And then the newest card, Evolusar Lars.
Okay, you want to explain this one?
So, in essence, it cannot be targeted if it has
materials.
materials, yeah. If it has materials, it cannot be targeted. And then it says, detach 2 material, target 1 card on the field, negate it. Just negate its effects. It's a imperm slash solar. It doesn't destroy it. But it basically can target a card and negate its effects for the rest of the turn.
Okay.
But if it has reptiles slash dinosaurs as its materials only, then it's not once per turn and you only have to detach 1 material instead of 2.
That is insane.
And that's the reason you run the normal monster. Before this came out, I was actually just running it for the fusion monster. It wasn't really worth it once people learned what the fusion monster did.
Okay, that's a
I
really
didn't say that thing name.
I can say it pretty easily.
Prove it.
I also run Zeus. This hasn't come up in a long time, but I run it on principle because most of the time my main deck can only out things with things like Destruction. And if I can't Book of Moon something through UCT, Ultimate Conductor Tyranno, then I have to use this. So, principle it's in here. But honestly, I'm considering cutting it. Borrowload Savage and board combo, pretty self-explanatory. Scarlight, this hasn't been here for a while. I originally had Omega with this because I saw it on Heap of Deck List. Unfortunately, the hand rip almost never came up because by the time I could summon it, I'm not hand ripping anything I would want to hand rip, like Droll, because at that point I would have been Drolled, pointless. This card, great into time. Chengying,
Chungus? Yep.
Big Chungus, yeah. You could run Baron with this, but you can use this on a Xeno lock and it's just funny. You can't ever trigger it by yourself, but if they do banish a card, you can mess with them. That is very debatable though. And then the fusion monster, Transcendosaurus Gigantosaurus. I can pronounce it easy.
Take that, Dad.
This card is the fusion monster, and you might have noticed, if you are unfamiliar with this deck, where was the fusion spell, Chicken Little?
Chicken leg, you mean?
Chicken brain lag.
Okay, chicken brain leg then. That you know
This,
from now on.
the search spell Ground Xeno doubles as
A fusion spell.
a fusion spell. And this card, when it is summoned from the extra deck, you get to add any dinosaur in your graveyard back to your hand. That is awesome recursion. And then if it ever gets destroyed, if it ever gets destroyed, you can shuffle any normal dino from your graveyard back into your deck, special summon it. And then when it's special summoned from the graveyard, it gains the effect to pop something on your field or hand, and then pop something on their field. Extra interruption, you can pop it off Ultimate Conductor Tyranno, just to give that Book of Eclipse effect a little bit more zest.
That's a really nice card.
It is a really nice card. Unfortunately, when people learn how to play around it, it doesn't do much because most of the time the only way you can pop it is off UCT, so people will just target UCT and it will do nothing. But it's always nice.
Its attack power is lower than, higher than UTT.
It's a good beat stick as well, yeah. So that's my side deck complete.
I mean,
I like it a lot, but you can change.
Side deck up then?
Not side deck, yeah, extra deck. This is my extra deck.
Okay, well we've seen that. Now you can go to
I
side.
personally really like it, but it is highly debated.
So you have a lot of flex spots, is what you're saying.
Yeah, I have a lot of flex.
You can fine tune the deck.
For my side deck, I run 3 Doggeran.
Can you turn them around, please?
Yeah.
Thank you.
The one secret rare Doggeran, because of course.
Speedle.
A lot of people only run this as a one-off in their side deck because you can search it. And I did originally run it like that for the longest time, but I came into the problem that I don't want to search this. Because if I'm searching this, I already have to have a good hand.
Look, if you're doing that,
Then why do you have
play
3?
cards on the table.
Because it's a lot easier to draw into a 3-off kaiju than a 1-off.
Hey, I'll do what I'm doing.
That's
But if I ever do have the opportunity, I can just soul eating over Accurate. People run it at 1, I run it at 2. I then also run, I'll go on to spells, since that's thematically better. 3 Book of Eclipse. I hate Pearly.
You don't think there's something else you'd rather use now that Cash Tier is not a thing?
Honestly, Book of Moon.
It's a 50-50
It's the same thing, but less payback if in case my opponent can
You're not
play.
getting your phone card to hit you back.
Book of Moon is actually probably, I would say, it can snipe things a lot better, and it doesn't. That's in my opinion. There is a lot of better options, but I hate Pearly.
Fair.
2 Cosmic, 1 Harpy. I hate Back Row.
Okay.
And then 3 Dark Ruler, no more. Honestly, I could trade this out for evenly, or even this for evenly, but it just, I'm used to it.
You want the easy way to play. No,
Yeah,
you
it
won't
is-
have to think as much.
It is nice to just negate their board.
That's right.
And then for my final, Anti-Spell Fragrance. I hate Pearly.
That's okay.
And then for the source, the tokens.
Okay.
And that is my deck list.
Thank you for the deck list.
I very much almost won this tournament, but the person behind the camera, well, he jazzed me out. And honestly, I can't blame him. It's not even trap tricks, he just had all the good non-engine, bro. Anyway, I love Dinosaur, and I'm happy I at least got second place. If I had to
Final word?
shout out anyone, shout out to Flu.
Yeah, you deserve that.
Yeah.